is the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive.
Welcome in to another edition of the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. It feels like we should have just left an empty chair there for Andrew Seeley. Off tonight on his Thanksgiving break. He's risen to the top of the food chain rather quickly here in the WFA Sports Department. He's got the Sunday off, and we're all left picking up his scraps. Andrew will be back next week. In the meantime, we will take you through tonight, and we've got a great panel coming up for you here momentarily as well. But first up, here's what's on the show.
Here's What's on the Show, sponsored by NFM.
On the show today, we take a look at the Dallas Cowboys, a team that has found themselves with a little spark of late, back-to-back wins to get to 5-7 on the year. They still have a huge mountain to climb to get back into anything resembling real playoff contention, but they certainly have a favorable schedule ahead of them to perhaps make up some ground in the NFC. Plus, we'll play another game of no fence riding with a heavy emphasis on college football after the regular season came to an end on Saturday. So that's what's on the show. Meanwhile, on the show today, two of our favorites from our friends at All City Dallas, Cowboys beat reporter Clarence Hill joins us once again, and maybe the current record holder for most appearances on the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show from The Athletic. It's Saad, Yousuf. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here tonight. What is your interpretation right now of where the Dallas Cowboys are in a spot now where they've won 2 games and it seems like they've developed some momentum, they've started to play some better ball? Can they turn this into something real?
You know what? We all left them for dead. People were talking about tanking just a few weeks ago, and I'm never on the side of tanking. I believe you should win, and I don't believe in the karma of tanking. I don't think they have a shot. I don't think playoffs are realistic notion, but I would love to see the drama. I would love to see the conflicted Cowboy fan that wanted to tank and now see them winning, and now one gets excited about them winning, Because let's go make some conflict here, because, we got a tank, we got to get a high draft pick. But when you're a fan of a team, you love to see them win.
It is more fun. Saad, what do you think about what they've done of late?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Washington win was a quality one. Obviously, that was on the road against a team that currently holds the final wild card spot. And I think the Giants one was just kind of what you expected, so I don't make too much of it. To me, the game against the Bengals Monday night will tell me a lot about where this team really is, because I know the Bengals just lost another one, and they're not having a great season either, but I do view them as a formidable team as opposed to the Giants that I think are kind of just left for dead. So for me, how they perform against the Bengals will kind of shape my perception of how they are the rest of the season.
Yeah, because listen, the win against Washington was surprising, was impressive, did show some good things, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They held them down for the majority of that game until what was obviously a wacky finish to the football game. But for 55 minutes anyway, the defense played really, really well against a good Washington offense. The Giants win, yes, is okay, great, you beat the Giants. Everybody beats the Giants. It does count as a win on their register, and now they are 5-7, and it gives them an opportunity now. But to me, I think, Saad, you're absolutely right. The question now is, can you beat the Cincinnati Bengals? Because despite that 4-8 record, very clearly they have a bunch of talent on that team. Played Pittsburgh to a very close game today, 44-38 final. Joe Burrow is putting up numbers like crazy. They can't protect Joe Burrow very well, but even despite that, he's slinging it all over the yard. This is a completely different test. Chill, what do you think about what the game with the Bengals looks like, and can Dallas figure out a way to match up there?
It's funny because most people are focused on the Bengals offense. Certainly they have a high-powered offense, quarterback that's playing amazing, even though he's on a 4-8 team. But the reason they're 4-8 is because their defense can't stop anyone. I mean, they made Russell Wilson look like Russell Wilson of old today, and Russell Wilson should not be throwing 500 yards. We saw that Bengals offense. We saw that Pittsburgh offense earlier this season. We've seen them since Russell Wilson's been back, and they've been more of a bus driving type offense to make a few plays. They don't score 40 points. And that tells you everything you know about that defense. The good news for the Cowboys going into this game is they should have Trevon Diggs. They should have Deron Bland to help cover those dangerous receivers. But, yeah, they're going to have to score points. But I think they can score points on that Bengals offense. But, yeah, Saad is right. If they want to really, truly make something of this run, beat the Bengals.
You mentioned the guys coming back from injury. This is a great opportunity for them coming off of going from a Thursday to a Monday nighter, an extended stretch here, almost a second bye week baked into the season. Of course, they had to earn it with 3 games in 10 days on the front end, but now they reap the benefits on the back end. Chance for CeeDee Lamb to get healthy, chance for Diggs and Bland and so many different guys. Maybe Zach Martin, although that's been a tougher road to hoe for them over the course of the last couple of weeks to try and get him healthy. But how big do you think this stretch, this off stretch, this almost bye week can be for Dallas in the way of getting some of these guys back on the field and maybe getting back to a Dak Prescott-less full strength?
Yeah, I think
Go ahead, Saad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think, this mini bye week, it's big. And we heard Jerry Jones say that DeMarcus Lawrence more than likely could be back as well. And I think that would be a huge boost to the defense, because when you look at the way the Bengals are, like Chill mentioned, Trayvon Diggs coming back, that's huge for the pass defense. But DeMarcus Lawrence coming back is huge for the pass defense as well, because you need to get that formidable pass rush with Micah Parsons. We're seeing Micah Parsons perform like the player that we've kind of known for him to be in the last 3 years since he's come back from that injury. So whether Marshawn Nealand is back as well, that would be a good boost for them. But all the injuries that we've seen from the Cowboys defense specifically throughout the entire season, they're almost to full strength. I mean, Sam Williams got hurt in training camp. Aside from that, if Diggs is back, if Lawrence is back, Nealand is back, like, you're seeing a full arsenal really for the Cowboys defense, which I think going against the Bengals offense could be a huge weapon.
And we're talking about a defense. Go ahead.
One more thing, keep in mind, the Bengals score a lot of points. They can't protect Joe Burrow, and then they've had problems protecting. And you got Micah Parsons, and certainly we talk about what we got from DeMarvin and Overshawn and what he's doing. There's no question, they have a chance to get to them.
Yeah, this is a Cowboys defense that certainly seems to have finally figured out what Mike Zimmer wants them to do. In addition to getting healthy, this is a Cowboys defense that has played some pretty good ball of late. We'll see what they can do against a very talented Bengals offense a week from tomorrow. Stay with us. Much more of the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, much more discussion about the Dallas Cowboys after this.
The Ultimate Dallas Sports Show is sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive. Today's headlines, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers.
The Philadelphia Eagles get a big win over the Ravens today behind another 100-plus yard performance from running back Saquon Barkley. He remains on pace to hit 2,000 yards this season and has a real chance to break Eric Dickerson's all-time single-season record as well. They are atop the NFC East. The Dallas Stars earned a 3-1 win over the top team in the West, the Winnipeg Jets, today. Dallas improved to 15-8 on the year thanks to goals from Wyatt Johnston and Mason Marchment. Rope Hintz had an empty netter late to put it away to give the Stars another win. Back with Saad, Yousuf, and Clarence Hill here on the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. Gentlemen, Chill, you talked about DeMarvion Overshown right before the break, and I want to get into that a little bit more because he has been such a revelation for this team, and a lot of us talked about it back in August when we were all in Oxnard and we saw the speed on full display, but it was all practice and a lot of it was conjecture, and we think anyway that this kid's going to be special. We have seen it bear out week after week, and especially now that Micah Parsons has gotten back on the field, that seems to have sent Overshown nuclear.
Yeah, and actually we talked about it last year before he got hurt. He was amazing his rookie year. If you go back, Mike McCarthy talked about it. When he got hurt in that Seattle game, he was making plays on the sideline. You just oozing athleticism, and they really were hoping to see him as a rookie. But missing last year with the knee injury, they brought him in camp slow. I was wondering why he didn't start the season with the first team. I was like, I'd rather him make mistakes fast because he's going to make mistakes fast and be violent when he gets there. Now he's been on the field. The game has slowed down for him. You see what he's doing with Michael Parsons. That is a dynamic duo. But his speed, his power, his athleticism, he does everything at a frenetic pace, and he's a playmaker for the Cowboys.
Saad, what has impressed you most about Overshown?
For me, it's been his speed and it's been his playmaking ability. I mean, I think that's something that we've kind of talked about with Jordan Lewis before as well. The playmaking ability where the ball just seems to find you, the plays just seem to find you. Of course, we know that's not the case. Overshown is doing a lot of good things that is resulting in him making those plays, but it just seems that he's wherever there's a big play, he's usually around there. And I know there was a lot of talk before the season about Micah Parsons and what kind of chess piece he could be for Mike Zimmer's defense. But I think as we move along along in DeMarvion Overshown's career. We might be seeing where Overshown, maybe not to the same caliber of Parsons, but can be the same type of player where you can use him in a lot of different roles to amplify your defense.
This is a season, as much as we've tried to talk our way into, hey, maybe they can be in the playoff hunt in a couple of weeks. And if they beat the Bengals, that becomes a lot more real. But this is a season that still probably figures to be a lot more in the vein of, okay, build for the future, get some young guys on the field, see what you've got. Who beyond Overshown has you most excited in terms of one of the young guys on this roster that feels like they can be a key piece for this team 2025 and beyond? Is there a guy that sticks out for you? Saad, I'll come to you first. Is there somebody that sticks out for you that fits that mold?
Yeah, I think, when we see Cooper Beebe play, first of all, the way he has, I think whether it's at center or at guard, either one of those, wherever he ends up playing in the future, I think he's one player. And then on the other side of the ball, I'll go with Maris Leofau. I think, we talk about Overshown and how good he is at linebacker. When you look at Eric Kendricks, I mean, he's a veteran who's not going to be here for a long time. And so I think Leofau can slide into that optimism and really provide something. In the limited opportunities that he's had, he has shown out and been a pretty good player. So I would say on the offense, Cooper Beebe has been encouraging. And on defense, I would say Leofau.
Chill, how about for you?
I was going to say Cooper Beebe stole my guy. I'm going to go with Rico. I'm going to go with Rico Dowdell.
Okay.
I mean, I know he's a free agent, but he's shown you that he can play in this league, and you certainly are going to have to revamp this running back position. But he's a guy that's showing you that he should be a part of next year's running back group. Whoever it is, if you draft a guy, he's earned the right to continue on the Cowboys running back.
If the people that want this team to tank get their wish, whether it's organically or by decision making, and this team ends up with a good draft pick in the offseason, and that may happen even if they go out and try and win. Losing to the Bengals is totally understandable and respectable. That is a talented football team. Fast forward to the 2025 draft. What are the things, if you had to pick one position, what do you feel like needs to be focus one for this franchise for them to stir this thing back up and get back to the 12-5 type of team that they've been the 3 years prior to this year?
I mean, it's hard to pick one position because you don't know what they're going to do with the offensive line, where they're going to move on from Terrence Steele. You're going to move Tyler Guyton to the right side. What are you going to do? You got the Zach Martin situation, and he's most likely to retire. Have you seen enough from the guys who've been playing? Can they be the future there guard? Certainly, I think running back is an option. Wide receiver, just you demand you go and get a wide receiver, even though you trade a 4th round pick for Jonathan Mingo. I think you still need somebody to go with Lamb for sure, and the defensive line. I mean, goodness, DeMarcus Lawrence could be gone. You still need help there. So there's so many positions you need, but I have to pick one. I'm picking a wide receiver.
Yeah, if I have to pick one, I'm going with the offensive line, because everything other than left guard is up in the air right now. I mean, if you go, your left tackle might be actually your right tackle of the future in Tyler Guyton. There has to be a decision on Terrence Steele. Like Chill said, Zach Martin's most likely done at this point, and Cooper Beebe has flexibility to where if you find a quality center, you can move Cooper Beebe to Zach Martin's spot at right guard, and if you find a good guard, you can keep Cooper Beebe at center. So aside from left guard, where I know the Cowboys believe they have a future Hall of Fame left guard in Tyler Smith, that is their belief. The other 4 positions are all up for grabs. So for me, if I have to pick one, I'm going with the offensive line, and you can pick any of those 4 spots.
No, I'm with you entirely. I do want to say real quick, since you brought it up, tip of the cap to Zach Martin. If this is indeed the end, then it looks like he's having a tough time coming back from this last injury, and it's been a tough season for him as it is. Not the finish to his career, obviously, that he would want here in 2024, but a remarkable, legitimate first ballot Hall of Fame career, one of the very best to ever play the offensive guard position in the NFL. I'm with you guys. I think offensive line's got to be the focal point in the offseason. You still have plenty of skill position talent on this team, and clearly the defense, when you've got everybody actually healthy on the field, you've got a defense that can play at a level like we saw, somewhat akin to what we've seen these last couple of years when they've been a playoff team. If you can rebuild this offensive line and try and do it quickly, I do feel like there's at least a window to get back next year.
One quick add. You think the Cowboys and Jerry Jones will go interior line 3 straight years, Tyler Guyton, You
Fair
go
point.
with Miley Smith. You go with, Tyler Smith. 3 straight years. That's not an exciting draft. The top of the draft. I'm not. You can fix some of those offensive line issues in free agency. That's not sexy enough. If you're having a top 15 pick, with those receivers out there, maybe some edge rushers out there. Michael Parsons is already lobbying for defensive guys. I just don't know if we're going to go an interior line 3 straight years.
Ashton Ginty, perhaps, coming back home to the North Texas area? That would be an awful lot of fun. Gentlemen, thank you so much. More of the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show is on its way. Our no fence riding segment after this.
The Ultimate Dallas Sports Show is sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive. And now it's time for No Fence Riding, sponsored by the Fort Worth Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Back on the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, one of Andrew Seeley's favorite segments here on UDSS, no fence riding. Gentlemen, the rules are simple. You're not waffling here. This is pick a side and stick with it. And we've got a series of questions, mostly college football centric, to roll through today. Our first question of the evening deals with Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys. Will they win 2 or more of their final 5 games? Can they get to 7-10 or better by the end of this season? Chill, I'll start with you. The Cowboys getting to 7-10?
I'm believing the momentum. I think they win 2.
Okay, you're putting them on 2, so 7-10 a final record. Saad, how about you? They getting to 8 or no?
Yeah, I'll give them 2, and I'll be right there as well. But we see the Carolina Panthers. They played the Chiefs tough. They played the Bucs tough today. It's going to be tough. That's probably the easiest game left on their schedule, and even that's not shaping up to be that easy. So I'll leave it right at 2.
It's hard for me to decide whether the Panthers and Bucs playing as tight a game as they just did. Jill's spinning around in circles. By the way, Clarence, the best background in the history of the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show with the cigar and that's fantastic. You're twisting like a top in the shot.
Well, thank you, man. I drove back from Houston because I know you're talking college football. I was in Houston watching Texas A&M, and coming back, and I stopped at a hotel and I'm on my phone, and my family is just blowing me up. And every time they call, it messes up my Zoom, and it's crazy. And my daughter, she doesn't know how to take no for an answer. She will call me back to back to back. You're supposed to answer my call.
Chill, if it makes you feel any better, this is probably fair comeuppance for I came on y'all's show a couple weeks ago, and I had the same exact issue. My wife was calling me over and over again and kept knocking me off the call. So we're just exchanging realities here. So both of you are thinking 7-10 for the Dallas Cowboys the rest of the way. That seems like a reasonable expectation. I'm not sure if the Panthers are all that good, but we'll see when Dallas heads to town. How about with Colorado? Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter will play in whatever bowl game Colorado winds up in. Saad, I'll come to you first on this one. You think these guys are going to play a bowl game, or are they going to get ready for the 2025 NFL Draft?
I don't think they would play in a bowl game unless it was the college football playoff. So if it's not the playoff, I don't think that either one of them would play.
Chill, how about you?
I disagree. I think Deion made a statement after the game the other night that his guys were playing, and I think they want to use this another opportunity to showcase themselves. I believe they're going to play.
I don't blame any athlete who makes that decision. We saw a prime example of it with Jalen Smith here in town over the course of the last 5, 6, 8 years, whatever it's been since he was 2016, right? He was the same draft as Dak and Zeke. So we've seen an example of how bad it can go playing in a bowl game that quote unquote doesn't matter, and what should have been a top 5 player in the NFL draft could have been a significantly more impactful NFL career perhaps if not for that injury for Jalen Smith. So I get it why guys make that decision, and it makes even more sense, frankly, now that you've got a 12-team playoff, because if you don't make the 12-team playoff, those bowl games feel even less significant. So I understand why, but we'll see what decision they make. I think you're right, Chill, that Deion at least made that statement. We'll see if these two guys decide to follow suit with that. Let's talk SMU now. SMU will make the playoff. Yes or no, fellas? Chill, you go first on this one.
There's no question. And I'm a Texas guy. You know, could my SMU be the best team in Texas?
Wow.
Is that crazy?
I'm surprised to hear you posit that question.
You know, because I think it's a legitimate question. I think Texas is the best team, but I think people are overlooking how well SMU is playing, and especially the firepower they have on offense. I mean, they are playing well, and they, you know, certainly to me are the best team in the ACC, and yes, they're going to get to the playoff.
Saad, do you think so too?
Yeah, I believe they'll get to the playoff, and I've been really impressed with the job that Rhett Lashley has done there. You know, I know the players, and it's a player's game. Football is a player's game, but the coaching job that is being done at SMU at the Hilltop has been really impressive, and I feel like you can really see that manifest itself on the field. Yeah,
I think even if they lose to Clemson, they probably should deserve to be in the playoff. Final one this evening. How about the UT Longhorns? They will win the SEC and the national championship game. Chill, this one's got your name written all over it. Your Horns winning it all?
Oh, that's a layup. Yeah, they're winning it all. I really like the moxie that the Quinn show planted the injured ankle. This team is good on the road. They get that environment, the way they handle the Aggies. I think they go and avenge that loss to Georgia. They'll be ready for the playoffs, and yes, they're going to bring home the trophy.
I feel like my vote will go that they don't win the SEC, but they do win the national championship. I feel like I could see that being the road that they go, and I don't think Chill would have any problem if that is the case.
Yeah, no, I think any Longhorn fan would take that for sure. Saad, Yousuf, and Clarence Hill, gentlemen, thank you so much as always. We appreciate your time.